Hey folks, I've been getting a lot of questions about growing citrus indoors, and I thought I'd just make a video just to give people some insight and things they might be doing wrong, things that they maybe didn't know they should be doing. I'll take you along and let you have a look at what I'm doing, and maybe you can learn something. Now, the first thing you need to know is that it's very difficult to grow citrus. It's not something you can just bring inside over the winter, water like it's a house plant, and it'll grow without much care. You actually do have to take quite a bit of care compared to other plants. But if you're like me and you really enjoy these type of plants, then it's definitely worth it. So I'll go through a few things that you need to know. So one of the most important things is light, to have adequate light. And you can easily measure how good your light is these days, especially if you have any sort of smartphone or iPad. They'll have these light meters. So, I can just put this light meter app here. They're all free, these apps. And you can see this is about 230 lux here. It fluctuates, but it's just, just to get a gauge of how much light there is compared to, location A versus location B. So what I'll do, I'll show you the light at another window. Now that window I just showed you was a south-facing window. So now I'm going to show you a north-facing window. See that? It's way less. It's like 150, not even. So you can see that we're getting twice as much light from the south-facing window as the north-facing. Next, what is probably the most important thing, I think, is humidity. I use this little humidifier. It's an ultrasonic humidifier. It's not that expensive. I think it was $75. But this has dramatically improved the health of my plants over the winter compared to the last ones. Last year, a good example was my pomegranate tree right here. It lost almost all its leaves and grew back a few, but not many. But with this humidifier, it's actually thriving. It loves it. So that's a good gauge. Also, my Meyer lemon tree, it did lose some leaves at the beginning on the bottom, but now it's stopped. It's not losing any leaves, and I've even seen some new growth start towards the top. Now, what I do to gauge my humidity is I have one of these thermometers and humidity meters. So that tells you that I have 39% humidity. That's not too bad of a level of humidity. These plants generally like between 40 to 60%, usually towards a higher amount. But if I didn't have this here, that number would be, if I didn't have my humidifier, that number would probably be like 23. And these plants don't like that at all. It would pretty much guaranteed that all my leaves would drop, and if I'm lucky, the plant would go into dormancy and live, and if I'm not lucky, I'll be buying another plant or another tree in the spring, and that's not what I want to happen. So now another issue is soil. You want something that definitely drains well. That goes without saying, though, for any citrus. If they really want a well-draining soil, this soil is a mixture of a lot of things: vermiculite, perlite, some pine bark fines, which are sort of just the smaller pieces of the pine bark. That adds to the drainage very well. Some people say use sand. I don't really like that, so I don't. And I also have some compost in here. But what's really important is that it drains well, which it is for me. Also, the soil likes to be fairly warm, or at least not cold. I know when people have put these trees in their basement in the winter and the soil's cold, often the plant can just go into shock and die. And I've seen that. So ideally you don't want to have these in your basement. But if you have to, I don't know, try to keep the soil warm somehow. And as for watering, these are a little bit harder to water in the winter because you really need to check each pot separately. Because one pot can have dry soil, the other one will have a little wetter based on its location, the size of the pot. You know, obviously these smaller pots will dry out quicker. So, you know, these bigger pots, you really got to dig your fingers down. You can even use those humidity or moisture meters, I should say. They're okay, but I don't totally trust them because you can have, you know, like a pocket of moist soil where the rest of it's all dry, and then you could be in trouble thinking everything's good, but it's not. So as for fertilizer, what I've been doing is fertilizing them 1 or 2 weeks before I bring them inside. Generally, you want to fertilize the plants when they're in containers about 4 times a year. So I did it that time, and what I'm basically waiting for is once all the fruit is harvested from all these plants, I'll just fertilize them. I don't want to be fertilizing them when there's still fruit on the plant. I want it to direct all the energy of the fertilizer into, you know, growing new branches and new leaves, etc. And one last thing, when you're going indoors, you do want to have things ready for when they go outdoors, meaning you want to pollinate them if they flower so that it'll start some new smaller fruit before they go outside. So this is my Eustace limequat. You can see it's just flowering now. So once these flowers open, probably in the next day or two, I'm going to use a Q-tip and just spread the pollen around between the flowers. And yeah, then I'll get a few, you know, tiny limequats that'll grow, continue to grow until I bring it outside. And they'll be my first limequats for next fall. Well, I think that about covers it. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. Thanks.